Those of you who are subscribed to my old YouTube channel may remember the numerous times that I've mentioned that, despite what the channel itself would have you believe, Doctor Who is my #1 all-time favorite TV show. And even with all the shows that I tend to get into between seasons, this has remained true.
Ever since Stephen Moffat took over, fans seem to have been jumping ship faster than on the Titanic, but I am still here, and while I agree there are some definite flaws, Season 8 managed to be my absolute favorite season of Doctor Who, and now Season 9 is finally here. So will this be the season that continues to reaffirm my faith in Doctor Who, or will it be what finally convinces me that perhaps all the people who hate so strongly on Stephen Moffat may have a point?
While I can't speak for the whole season, I can speak for the first episode, which, while far from perfect, definitely lands on the side of the former.
The opening of this episode is fantastic. The reveal that the little kid the Doctor is trying to save is Davros is yet another great Dalek reveal. Whenever an episode shows Daleks for the first time, it's always done in a great oh shit moment. You can see it in people's faces. It's part of what makes Daleks so consistently threatening and, in turn, my favorite Doctor Who villain. No character ever takes Daleks lightly. Even a single Dalek will strike terror into anyone who recognizes it. But I'm getting off topic. My point is, the kid saying his name is Davros and the Doctor's expression afterwards is just another instance of the same formula, and it works really well. It's one of those moments that just grabs the audience and makes them say out loud, "Oh shit, this is bad." Shot of the Doctor's face, cut into title sequence, and I am really excited to get back into Doctor Who after being gone so long. Unfortunately, the rest of the episode largely fails to capitalize on the excitement built in the intro. One significant flaw with part 1 of this episode is the pacing, as in, for a 45-minute episode, not a whole lot really happens. Take the introduction of Colony Sarf, for example. Basically, there are 4 key things that we learn about him over time. 1, he is called Colony Sarf. 2, he's looking for the Doctor. 3, he has a message from Davros. And 4, we learn what the message actually is. But the show takes its sweet time establishing all of these. In the first scene at the Maldivarium, we learn what his name is and that he is looking for the Doctor. Scene changed to the Shadow Proclamation. Here we learn again that he is called Colony Sarf and he is looking for the Doctor, just in case you forgot from 20 seconds ago. But now we also find out he is working for Davros. Now cut to a third scene at Karn. Again, they mention his name is Colony Sarf, that he is looking for the Doctor, he is working for Davros, and now we finally learn what the message is. My point is, each piece of information here is repeated multiple times, and it doesn't really do anything but slow the episode down. There really isn't any reason that the episode couldn't have just cut to the scene on Karn and gotten the exposition out of the way much faster. Next, Davros tells Colony Sarf that if he is looking for the Doctor, he should first find the Doctor's friends, which really makes me wonder why Davros thought hiring Colony Sarf would be a good idea if he didn't already know that. Seriously, that's like finding the Doctor 101. Why didn't Davros just tell the Daleks to find him? They've done this before, they can probably track him down in 10 seconds flat. In fact, it seems they already found the Doctor because they had a Dalek surrogate already planted where the Doctor was. So what was the point of Colony Sarf in the first place? Honestly, Colony Sarf's inclusion just seems so weirdly unnecessary that I thought for sure he must be something from Classic Who coming back as an homage. But a quick check of the Doctor Who wiki says that isn't the case, so weirdly unnecessary it is. Anyway, Davros mentioning the Doctor's friends transitions nicely to the scene with Clara back on Earth. Clara, along with the rest of Earth, notices that all the planes have mysteriously stopped in the sky. Unit scrambles to figure out what's going on, but again, it really just feels like the episode is wasting our time. The idea is that the planes were something set up by the Master in order to get Unit's attention, but the planes do nothing to lead Unit to the Master. Instead, she just called Unit up on the phone. If she wanted to talk, why not just call them right away? Well, okay, maybe I'm being a little nitpicky there. The Master is nothing if not a showboat, especially her latest incarnation, and admittedly, stopping all the planes in midair is pretty darn cool, so I suppose I can understand if the Master wants to waste some time by showing off.
Pardon my sci-fi, but this is beyond any human technology.
What? You work for UNIT. You should never have to say, pardon my sci-fi. Your entire job is dealing with sci-fi stuff, and of course it's not human technology, that's why UNIT is dealing with it. So UNIT sends in Clara to talk to the Master, where she brings up the Doctor's confession dial, because apparently the Doctor is about to die, and I'm sorry, but I just don't buy it. This has to be the 50th time the Doctor thought he was going to his death, and there simply isn't any tension in it anymore. Season 6 had a big big arc surrounding how everyone thought the Doctor was going to die, but that worked because we actually saw the Doctor getting killed at the beginning. Of course, we didn't think the Doctor would actually die in the end because he's the main character, but it still created a threat that loomed over the entire season and left the audience wondering how it would all be resolved. This confession dial doesn't have any of that. Apparently, the confession dial means that the Doctor will die tomorrow, which adds a sense of urgency, but a little bit later the Doctor himself completely diffuses what little tension remains when he says that he's basically using a very loose definition of day. So now the Doctor doesn't plan on dying anytime soon? Well, great. Now I'm just bored, as I have been for basically the entire episode. Just get back to Davros already. That was cool.
See that couple over there? You're the puppy.
Oh, okay, that's a cute analogy. I guess that's... Wait a minute. What? How the hell is this random couple walking through the square? What does this security guard think his job is? Oh, excuse me and the wife would like to walk past here, is that okay? Oh, I don't know, we're only in the middle of negotiations with the single greatest threat to the entire fucking planet. So, is that a yes? Yeah, but just be quick about it. Is this couple another one of those psychic projections made by the Master just to make a point? Maybe only Clara can see it? It sounds crazy, but the alternative is believing that UNIT just let this random civilian couple walk right through the middle of a situation so delicate they needed 8 snipers pointed at one person. Doctor Who is a show all about suspension of disbelief, but this is ridiculous. I'll take a dozen the moon is an eggs before I believe this shit. Despite continuing to prove itself as the most incompetent organization in the galaxy, UNIT, of all people, is able to locate the Doctor. UNIT! The Daleks couldn't find him, Colony Sarf couldn't find him, the Shadow Proclamation couldn't find him, no, fucking UNIT found him! So Clara and the Master follow the Doctor to 12th century Essex, and the episode wastes no time at all, continuing to waste my time. Sure, a tank in medieval times is fun, but it is not more of Davros. After more showboating, we finally get back on track when Colony Sarf shows up and takes the Doctor, the Master, and Clara to Davros. Finally. And just before the Doctor is taken to see Davros, there is one piece of dialogue that I actually really like.
Gravity.
I know.
As the Master explains to Clara, the Doctor was referring to how gravity in the space station did not feel artificial, meaning they must be on a planet. But the way the Doctor tells this to the Master says a lot about their relationship. First, the fact that they are both able to feel the difference between artificial and genuine gravity shows that they are obviously both seasoned space travelers. Of course, we know the Doctor travels through space a lot, but it's interesting to see that the Master may have experience equal to that of the Doctor. Second, the way the Doctor only has to say gravity, and how the Master sarcastically responds with I know, really sells the idea that they are friends. Usually only friends are able to communicate with so few words like that. It turns out that the Doctor was correct, and they are indeed on a cloaked planet, which is revealed to be Skaro. They say they brought it back, so I guess they retconned how Skaro appeared in Season 7, which in turn was retconning how Skaro was destroyed back with the 7th Doctor. If you stupidly retcon a stupid retcon, does that make it okay? I don't know. But there are some classic-style Daleks on Skaro, and that's pretty cool. I guess I could complain about how the classic Daleks technically shouldn't be able to leave the city or else they'd lose power, but I'm just nostalgic for things that happened 30 years before I was born and I've never actually experienced, so I feel like I can let it slide. The Daleks take Clara and the Master back to the city, but quickly exterminate both of them, though we know they didn't really get exterminated because the visual effect is different. And the episode concludes with the final shot of the Doctor coming back to young Davros, but this time we can only assume he's about to kill him. It's a classic cliffhanger. We know that the Master and Clara are okay, and we know that the Doctor will get out of this because he is able to get back to the TARDIS to go back in time, but we don't know how they make it out, and that's why we want to watch the next episode.
Now, I know I said that I liked the episode, even though I just spent nearly this entire video complaining about it, but that's because the first episode is a two-parter, and it was really only the first part that I disliked.
While there are plenty of cool Doctor Who sci-fi things, planes stuck in the sky, a tank in medieval England, the hand mines, an invisible planet, etc., the plot just felt like an overly long setup designed to get the Doctor, the Master, and Clara to Skaro for the events of the second part, which is where all the payoff is, and man is it a good payoff.
But my thoughts on that episode will have to wait until the second part of my review. For now though, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.